Okay. Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to another movie review, and this time I'm taking a look at one of the most anticipated movies of this year, the entire year. People have been very excited for this, okay? It is supposedly one of the most horrifying, terrifying, appalling things you'll ever see in a theater. It's supposedly a really, really scary movie, and I am very excited to talk about Home Again. Fuck out of here! That's not what I'm talking. Get out! Well, you keep coming back. No, I'm not talking about that movie. Get it out of here. Where'd it go? It's gone. It's scared. It ran away. Get that poster out of here. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Stephen King's It. Hell yeah. Oh man, I've been excited for this movie for a very long time. Ever since the trailer, really, but really ever since they announced they were going to do it. And originally it was going to be directed by the guy that did True Detective. I was like, oh my god, it's going to be good. And then he dropped out. I was like, oh no. And then the guy that did Mama dropped in. I was like, okay. When it comes to visuals, Mama looked great. So I'm kind of excited. All right, I'm excited. And then the trailer came out. I was like, okay, that looks good. That looks good. And the movie's out and it's been getting great reviews. I've been excited for it for a very long time. I was so excited for this movie that I was actually considering reading the book. And if I consider reading a book, that's something. That's something. And I'm very proud of myself for even considering the thought of opening a book up, or even opening my tablet up to read a book off my tablet, or even listening to an audio book. That's pretty impressive for me. I didn't read the book. It's over 1,000 pages. You can get out of here. I can't even get through an instruction manual. You think I'm going to read that? Hell no. So now we finally get to my review of It, the latest adaptation of the classic novel. What did I think of the movie? Oh man, I absolutely loved it. I really did. I really enjoyed the hell out of my time with it. All 2 hours and 15 minutes of it, which, yes, that's pretty long, especially considering most horror movies nowadays are around like an hour and 40, maybe an hour and 50 minutes, maybe even less, maybe a little bit more, but it never usually crosses over into the 2 hour mark. I think The Conjuring maybe did that, but I could be wrong. But for the most part, horror movies stay short because they just want to, scare you and get the hell out of there. They don't really care about telling a story with characters and with actually good dialogue and whatever, yada, yada, yada. It's just about the, boo, jump scare. Oh, are you scared? I hope so, because that's all we're here for. If you're not, we fucked up. But thanks for the money, dummy. Now, if you're coming into this movie expecting just a straight-up horror movie and that's it, there's a killer clown, he keeps jumping up and making scary faces or whatever, and he has, like, razor claws and whatever. No, that's not exactly what you're getting here. You're getting way more, which, hey, that's more bang for your buck. If you're going in there expecting one thing, you get that, but then you get more. You actually start to feel for these characters, which I know for a lot of you people that watch all these stupid-ass horror movies that might, like, feel weird at first. Like, wait, hold on, I feel something? I feel something. I like these characters. I don't want them to get murdered horribly. And they're all kids too. In horror movies, when we have kids in a horror movie, they're always, well, maybe not always, but 99% of the time they're horrible actors and you don't want to see them. They're always whiny and freaking, you're a ghost. You don't want to see them. You just want them to go away or get eaten or die or whatever. You hate them. You really do. Most of those kid actors are horrible. But every single kid actor, which there's a good like 6 or 7 of them that are in this movie, are excellent. Every one of them. Every single one of them. I'm telling you right here. No bad performances whatsoever in this movie. And when it comes to Pennywise's character, Bill Skarsgård, he's like my age. I think he's exactly my age. I think he's 27. And that man scared the shit out of me. If you've ever seen Bill Skarsgård in a movie before, he was in Atomic Blonde, he was in a few things, he was in a TV show on Netflix. If you've seen him in anything else, you will not recognize him at all here. And I know, he has the makeup, but I'm talking about like voice, I'm talking about his performance, the way he stands, the way he moves. There's nothing about this character that screams, oh yeah, that's Bill Skarsgård. You could tell. Like, you can't. Look at Bill Skarsgård, the way he looks right now, and then look at him in this movie. You wouldn't even be able to tell, like, facial structure, anything, even, like, his eyes. You can't tell at all. You cannot tell it's Bill Skarsgård. With Pennywise in the original miniseries, you could tell it's Tim Curry. You could. I could be like, oh, okay, yeah, you see it in the mouth and the way his face is structured and his eyes and stuff. It's Tim Curry. Here, you just can't tell. He transforms himself. He is absolutely fantastic in this movie as this demonic clown that really, really wants to eat some kids. Bill Skarsgård is terrifying in this movie. He really knocks it out of the park. There's times where he's both charming and terrifying, and sometimes he's actually both at the same time. Of course, the beginning scene with Georgie, him trying to seduce Georgie down into the sewer, that scene is both terrifying and charming somehow. Like, he actually does act like a clown. He's like trying to make this kid laugh, and then there's times where he's just like, I'll fucking murder you. He doesn't say that, but in his eyes you could see he's about to. And man, that scene ends grisly. If you're going into this movie expecting the kids not to get hurt or anything, or if they do get killed, it's like off screen, the first 10 minutes tells you, nah, we don't play that shit. Kids are gonna die and you're gonna see it. And man, that's a really great way to start the movie. And I wouldn't even be surprised if some people actually left before that scene even ended, because man, that was horrifying. But yeah, he's great. But I actually want to go back to the kids, because I think the kids really deserve a lot of the credit, because like I said, there is a stigma about kids actors in movies, especially horror movies, that I already expressed, but they not only are great for this movie, they're just great in general. They really do nail these characters, and each character really have their own little quirks. Like, one of them has asthma, the other one's overweight, which, hey, I sympathize. One has a stuttering problem, the other one's like the female of the group, so she's kind of, you know, I mean, she's not ostracized at all. She's just the female one, so everybody looks at her a little differently. And you have all these little quirks that each character has. One of them is a germaphobe. One of them has a very, very, very strict mother, so he can't go out or anything. He's kind of a little neurotic. So you have a lot of really interesting characters just based on their quirks, but you really do get to feel for them as characters and as people. You feel like they're real, and they have great chemistry with each other. The dialogue is excellent for them. The kid Richie, who's the funny loudmouth one, who's the same kid from Stranger Things, he's the main kid from that, is great. He's so good. He's really funny. The kid that plays Bill, who has the stuttering problem, he's like the main one of the group. And he is the one that loses Georgie, of course, in the beginning of the movie, so you really do feel for him. There's times where he has to break down, just like he'll never see his brother again, at least he thinks so, and it's just really, really heartbreaking at times. There's a whole subplot with Beverly's character, which is heartbreaking as well. There's so many really emotionally effective moments in this movie that really resonate, especially since it's a horror movie. Everybody was coming to see a killer clown, and now I'm like, I'm not tearing up or anything, but I'm just like, oh man, this is really heartbreaking at times. It really does a great job with its characters and its dialogue, and just, I loved it. I really did when it came to that aspect. But I'm not even done sucking the movie's dick yet. I still have to talk about the horror aspect. Oh man. Now, of course, I mentioned Pennywise. He is terrifying, but he's not the only thing here. Alright, you have a lot of amazing visuals in this movie. When it comes to cinematography, it looks beautiful, but when it comes to some of the special effects and practical effects, there's some horrifying imagery here that really, really unsettled me. And it unsettled a lot of people in the theater too. This movie's going to really unsettle a lot of people. There's just, I don't even want to spoil anything, but there's scenes where a kid's looking at a painting, and then he looks away, and then looks back at the painting, and then the weird thing on the painting's gone, and then he looks back, and then the thing's there. The thing that's on the painting, the thing that disturbs him, is there. You know, there's, of course, the scene in the trailers that you keep seeing with the clowns and stuff, all the clown dolls. That scene's terrifying. There's so many scenes that just like, oh man, it's not even just Bill Skarsgård. It's really just the environment itself, the atmosphere, the camera work. It's just the lighting. It's beautiful looking. It really is. It's a beautiful looking movie, but it's beautiful because it's so disturbing. Okay, so when it comes to the horror, there are plenty of jump scares. There are plenty of parts that will creep you out. There's a lot of blood and gore, which I was not expecting. Even though it's rated R, I thought it was going to be a little bit more, you know, subtle. But there's a scene right in the beginning when someone's arm gets cut off, and it's just like, It's not, alright, it's not squirting out, but, you know, it's realistic. You see blood just, like, trailing off the wound and stuff. So there's plenty of blood. If you're going into this expecting a lot of blood, a lot of gore, a lot of scares, you're getting that, but you're also getting, like I said, all the character moments and stuff. It's a great movie for anybody, really. If you just want to see a great movie with great characters, great acting, you're getting that. But if you want to come and get a little spooked, then you're going to get that too. It really knocked out of the park. The only problems I have with it, there is a little bit of a pacing issue towards the beginning of the film where we're building up these characters and, you know, we're getting to know them, but there's a couple times where we get a long, it's kind of like the new Annabelle movie where we get long scenes of someone walking through a dark hallway and stuff, and it's spooky and, oh, is something gonna happen? And it felt a little bit too generic horror movie-ish. I mean, it was still scary, don't get me wrong, but I was just like, I was digging when it was just all these kids hanging out and stuff and going like, hey man, did you see that clown? Yeah, I saw that clown. That was messed up. Like, you're seeing it too? Yeah, man, that's fucked up. So I like more those scenes. By the way, all these kids curse a lot, especially that Richie kid. He can't stop cursing. Oh man, he's worse than I was back then, and I was cursing a lot. But yeah, these kids are great. That was my only problem, is some of the pacing where it's just like, you know, it slows down just to get a scare, and it works. Don't get me wrong, but it could have been, you know, tightened up a little bit more. The only other problem is like the adult characters are kind of, some of them are stereotypes, some of them are just like there to be goofy, you know, and some of them are just are there to be fat and to be the butt of jokes. There's no main character that's an adult besides, I guess, Pennywise, but even him, he's like a demon thing, so he's not even a person. So yeah, that's it. So anyway, there you go. That is my review for it. I had a couple problems. Couple of really just small problems. Like the adult problem really isn't that much of a problem. It was, we were focusing on these kids, and I get that. I just wish we got to see more of like maybe the adults, the parents, you know. We don't even get to see Bill's mom, I don't think ever, you know. And when they mention her, like, oh, she's crying or whatever. We see his dad, but we never see his like mother, and I would have liked to see her, how she deals with it. I mean, you do see her in the background once. That's not true. Alright, let me correct myself. She's playing piano once, but you never see her after, like, post-Georgie death. But anyway, there you go. That is my review for it. I really enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite movies this year. It's probably in my top 10 right now. Maybe even in my top 5. Who knows? I'm gonna give it a 37 out of 40. I really love this movie. Go check it out in your local theater, but most likely you're already doing that. You're probably not even watching this video. You're probably out there watching the freaking movie. Yeah, okay, couldn't even wait until I tell you how good it was? What the hell's wrong with you? Okay? Jesus. Ungrateful. So anyway, there you go. That's my review. Anyway, thank you, and until next time, goodbye.